Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Ideas Edition podcast. And I am so excited in this episode because I have one of my long-term friends since I actually started the agency. He's been one of the career partners that have helped us grow in Ideal Insurance. And I'm just so excited and humbled to have him on today's episode. And he is the one and only Joe Curtis. He's the sales manager from one of our, major career partners. So I'm so excited to have him here and ask him some questions about, how he can help you as an agent listening this or somebody, looking into getting to the industry on how you can grow in this industry. So I'm so excited to have you here, Joe. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm humbled. When I got the email to be asked, I was excited. So I was like, yes. So, and seeing you. So yes, like you said, it's been years since we've been together, known each other and seen, and we've both grown together. So it's been amazing.
Yeah.
So congratulations to you, the agency, your wife, everything's going through. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, I think we go back maybe 2018, if I'm not mistaken. So
yes.
long time.
And knew about you before then, just so you know, through our mutual connections.
Yeah. So thank you again for being here. Now, I want to get started. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you actually got started on the insurance industry.
Okay. Well, I was born and raised in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
And was up there for most of my life. Went to college in Pennsylvania, moved down to Florida in 1999. And I have an IT background.
Oh, my goodness.
And I was in IT for over 25 years.
Wow.
Programming, management, and was doing management for a while. My wife, who's in the business, she was trying to get me to come in the business, and I kept saying, no, I don't want to get in the business. I like what I'm doing. And she kept saying, you'd be great at this, because I'm a personable guy. I was one of those IT guys that people would say, you're really in IT?
I know.
Because I would talk to people.
I would have never thought you were in IT.
Exactly. So just kind of kept going there. And then I got laid off in IT.
Wow.
And she was like, okay, go get your license. And I'm like, no, I'm going to find another job. And it just kept going and going. And then eventually I got my license. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm sitting up there like, why didn't I do this years ago?
Wow.
Like, I was just like, this is a wonderful industry, a wonderful business, and just a wonderful career. And I'm like, I should have done this years ago. But, you have to be sometimes pushed. The Lord pushes you over, like, look, you need to happen. And it was just that I did not have a opportunity in IT, came into this business, and ever since I started, I love it.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how I really got into this. And I just took off because I just love to help people and love to be involved and build relationships. And that's exactly what we do. So
yeah. What year was that you got your license? Yeah.
I got my license in 2017.
Wow. Okay.
And been started in as a career agent. I've been a career agent, even though, you build relationships. I've been a career agent and then became a manager over 4 years ago.
Got it.
And like I said, it's just one of those things that I fell into it. And it's so funny. I've met a lot of people that they didn't choose this career. It's just kind of like, well, let me go ahead and try this, or let me go.
Yep.
And you just wind up loving it.
Yeah.
With it. Yeah.
And it's true. It's so funny you mentioned that because it's true. Like when you look at the core of what we do about helping people get a better product, a better plan, or a plan that really fits their needs, and now they're able to get this that otherwise they wouldn't have access to it.
And you when you research, I'm a researcher. I love to research and learn as much as possible. The more and more that I was getting into it, I was just, I can't believe that this is available.
Wow.
And people didn't realize. So I would just feel like, well, I'm just going to educate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to go educate, just go continue to educate. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So that's how I got into it, and I love it.
That's amazing. And what was that process like for the new agents maybe listening to this? What was that process like when you got your license, and what were those first steps like? There were some of maybe the challenges you had to overcome.
Okay. Yeah. Well, first thing, and for those people that are those agents that are just getting involved, just because you've never been involved doesn't mean that you can't be successful.
Mhm.
But
Wow.
and you'll be overloaded with information and what's going on. But I say that it was just like I love to just learn.
Mhm.
So I just continued to gradually learn, continue to grow. I started talking to people. I mean, it did help that my wife was in the business, and
Mm.
yes, we had, our kitchen table. Every time we were sitting there talking, we were talking about business
Business, I
because
know.
I wanted to learn. And people say, "Oh, you shouldn't talk about work at home." I was like, "No, to this day we still do."
Yeah.
you know. So, and I'm pretty sure
Oh my goodness.
it doesn't
It's
stop.
so funny because yesterday it was like 9 p.m. I got home like at 7, and we were talking business all the way through 9 o'clock. It's like it's time to go to bed, and we're still talking business. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
But
and then
but it's we like it.
Exactly. When you love what you do, we'll be on vacation
Mhm.
and we're just talking like, oh wow, this would be a real nice place to have an event, things like that. So you just love it when you do. So just continuing going to it, I just continue to just learn.
Mhm.
I didn't try to learn everything in a week.
Mhm.
And I remember my mentor was telling me, kept saying, look, this is not a sprint, this is a marathon.
Mhm.
Take time, because there are people, they come in like, oh yeah, ready to go home, and they think they're going to make, 100,000, $1 million in a month. And it's like, no,
Yep.
take your time, grow. It takes a while,
Mhm.
it
Oh
does.
yeah.
And I'm still learning stuff every day. I come up with situation. My agents will call me like, hey, have you ever ran into this? And I'm like, wow, no. But what I do is I take that
Mhm.
and then I go and research and try to find the answer or
Mhm.
find the options for them.
Mhm.
So taking your time, and don't see other people as competition.
Mhm.
See them as resources to learn from.
Wow.
Even when I was at a career, and I was a career agent,
Yeah.
I would go do events and they would be broker and other career agents there.
Mhm.
I would go and talk to them
Wow. Wow.
and go and find out more about them and get them, info, because now I won't say that you can't trust everybody, but you just don't
But
see them as necessarily I'm going to fight them automatically, like
exactly.
competition.
I know.
Fight is kind of strong, but
The-
but I was just learning. So when I was a career agent, I would go find other career agents because I would have members like, Joe, this plan isn't working for me. I'm looking at this other carrier. I'd be like, let me help you because I still can help.
Mhm.
So I would go help, call that career agent or the broker that I know that can help them.
Mhm.
And I would say, hey, this person needs, just help me out. We'll help each other out because
Mhm.
this industry is small, but it's really big,
Wow.
so.
That's amazing you say that because not all the agents have that heart, right? They want to keep member at all costs, and even if they cannot sell other options, they make it hard to help that member. But having that servant heart, it's so important in this business, and because I think God rewards that, and
Amen.
and even if you lose a member because you refer it to somebody else, I think a lot comes with that. I don't
It
know
will
if you
come back.
agree.
Oh, yeah, yeah, for sure, it will, and sometimes I referred members to other people and never got anything back, and I'm just like, "Okay, well, that's fine." I just know that I can work with you, but there are so many people out there, and they're looking for people to trust.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that, yeah, this is a sales job, but there are people out there with that heart that say, "I just wanna
Help.
find people that just can help," and there are plans for everyone.
Yeah.
And there are agents for everybody.
Mm.
And sometimes there might be a member that I just won't click with, but this member might click with that person. And if I could get that, I'm still helping that member, plus building a relationship with it. Yeah.
Exactly. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I love it. That you say the servant heart, that's really me.
yeah. That's amazing because I think that's key to growing in this industry, right? If you have that servant heart, it's different than life insurance. Life insurance, you know the need to care about the member, but it's more transactional, right?
Yes.
What we do on the healthcare side of the business, Medicare and specifically, and ACA too, but Medicare specifically, you have to have that humbleness, right? You really need to care for your member because if all you see is trying to close the sale to get a commission, and you don't really have that word help as your front line, it's harder. It's harder to build that book and to grow.
And you said a key word, it's not transactional. This isn't a transaction. They're not at a store buying something, they walk out and they're done. And the only time they'll come back is either they're unhappy, ready to return, or something like that. This is something that just continues to grow and to build. And it's about those relationships.
Yeah.
So for someone, coming back in circle, for somebody's brand new, build relationships all over and understand that there are people out there. I mean, that's how we met, of just like, hey, this person, I know that connecting these two people, look, we're years later, connecting these two people together help grow.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
How building relationships, probably one of the first things you did starting out. So how did that help you throughout your journey, as an agent and now a sales manager?
Well, the funny thing is, it was relationships that I built even before I got into this industry.
Wow.
So I, was a coach, mentor, in all these different programs around the city. Even before I was in this industry at all, I was connected with my church and I was just doing volunteering and stuff. And when I came into this industry, they tell you, all right, what connections do you have? And all I did was went to those people and said, hey, this is what I'm doing now. Well, come on in. How can we help? And it was because of those previous relationships that I was able to grow faster in this industry, because when you build those relationships, people are always going to be saying, you know what, wherever you are, I want to go.
Wow.
And you have that all the time with, even as an agent, if you're with a particular carrier, members will follow that agent. And not say all of them, but members are going to be like, well, where are you now? I always wanted to look at this plan. So even with independent agents to brokers, maybe they're only with one or two plans. But if this member is saying, hey, I'm looking at this plan, but I only want to be in this plan with you.
Wow.
Now it's like, okay, well, maybe I need to look at this plan, this other plan, and maybe I need to expand here. Yes, it's time to get the licenses and certification, but if that member is like, no, I only want to be with you. That's what and it's the same thing with the communities. They're going to be like, look, and I know just because I hear your name outside of here too, people are going to be like, no, whatever business Jorge's in, I want to be connected to. Just so you know, give you a little shot.
That's amazing. So I'm glad you talk about relationships, and because that's so key. And even previous relationships have helped you, get to where you are. So that is so important. I'm so glad you mentioned. Now, other than relationships, what were some of those things that as an agent you did as far as sales and marketing to grow your clientele, your membership?
So I definitely, and I was just having this conversation with my team this week, because we have new agents starting and everything. I believe in activity.
Awesome.
I believe in activity. I believe in all types of activity, trying different things. Now, some people are successful without activity, but I always believe that activity produces results, which produce sales. Now, it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. But activity will produce results, because the more and more you're out there, people are going to see you. The people are going to know and recognize you. And it's also about the consistency. So being out there everywhere, I'll tell you this, I averaged 28 events a month.
Wow.
And just tabletops, some doctor's offices, because back then they would allow tabletops at the doctor's offices. I would be at, the different stores. I would be at communities. I would be at the senior centers. I was everywhere. Every single day I would have it lined up, being organized. And so probably that's another thing, of being organized.
That's true.
And I will tell you, being organized, you are probably better than the majority of the people because most agents are not organized anymore. They just kind of go on the phone. Oh, I'm gonna go here. Oh, I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go. Laying it out, being organized, so you can be active and not overwhelmed.
Wow.
And when I say you active, I mean seriously, be active.
I mean, yeah,
intentional.
so that's like 1 or 2 events a day. Okay.
Yes.
Now, how did you get yourself organized back then?
Okay. I'm an old school guy, so back then I was paper.
Yeah,
I had a calendar.
paper calendar, right?
I had a paper calendar.
Okay.
I mean, now I have gone to the phone and the iPad, but I had a paper calendar, and if it wasn't on my paper calendar, I didn't have it. So everything was on that paper calendar. And what I would do is I would take an admin day. And I would plan out the week. And if I could plan out my month, I would actually plan out my month. And the consistency was big. So if I was going to be at let's just say at a silver sneakers class, and because that was my thing, fitness. So I had silver sneaker classes all over. I was going to be there that second Tuesday of every month.
Awesome.
And I was going to be, and everybody would expect me there. That's a Joe Curtis day. That's Joe. So much that if I didn't show up, I was getting calls from the members, and some of them weren't even my members. They were just Silver Sneaker. Where were you this Tuesday?
Wow.
And I was like, well, I had a meeting. Well, when are you coming? Can you make it up on the third Tuesday and then come back? Like they were going, but it was that consistency in the relationship that they were looking for me. So being organized helped me lay those things out so I could see what was coming up. And then I could schedule my my appointments in between, or I could say, all right, this day is all appointments and I'll be here in this area doing those type of activities.
I love it. Love it, Joe.
Yeah. Old school paper.
You broke it down so great.
Like,
we still have agents that they have their big planners and calendars and they just write everything there. And I like to see that because they show me, oh, let me go back to that day. And when they're scrolling the pages, it's like you can see everything they write down.
Exactly.
And that's still important,
So important.
And if you're not doing that, but make sure you're doing it on the digital, like the iPad and your Google Calendar, because that is so important.
And go to it and make sure, because I know the tendency, all right, you log it and then you never look at it again because it's not a text message or it's not on social media. No. Set it up so you're always, and set it up to where you can get it on the iPad and your phone, because everything can connect now. So set it up so you're always able to look at it, because that's how you would stay organized with those activities and go. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good joke.
And can I ask? Yeah. So an event, and this is my philosophy. I say this to everybody. If I'm doing an event, my mindset is 4 different things.
Let's do it.
1, I'm there to make a sale.
Okay.
My mindset is I'm trying to make a sale.
Okay, so let's do that again. So
4 phases. My mindset going into an event, and let's just say it's a tabletop. 4 things. So 1, I'm going there to make a sale.
Awesome.
I'm there. I've spent my time. I've spent my money or whatever. I'm going to make a sale. 2, if I'm not going to make a sale, I'm going there to get an appointment. Because I'm going to set up an appointment, even if that is an appointment with maybe my own current member, but I'm going to I'm being intentional. 3 is that if I can't get a sale or an appointment and I'm just getting kind of, I've got to think about it, I'm going to set an appointment to call that person to set an appointment.
Oh, love that. Love that.
So sale, appointment, or I'm going to set an appointment to call them. And then the 4th thing is, okay, they're going to take my card and call me back or my little flyer or something. But that's going to be the last thing. And when you go in with that mindset, you treat each person as in, what if this is the only person I'm going to talk to all month long?
Wow. Wow. That's so powerful.
So treat them as if, and that helps you keep it to where I treat every sale as my very first sale. Because we go back, I still can remember my first sale. And I can remember my first person that walked up to my table and I had to engage, because I was like, this person, they walked up to my table. I'm not letting them go. Like, I'm going to go, blah, 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 and I set an appointment and I sold them. And I think they were like number 2 or her and her husband was like number 2, number 3. And with them, I still see them every year.
Oh, wow.
They call me, AEP, where are you? When are you coming over to explain the benefits? And as a sales manager, I can't sell anymore.
Exactly.
But they're like, well, we don't care. And I've even said, well, I can send over one of my. They said, no, we want to see you. So I have 3 couples like that. AEP, I'm the only one they see. Go over our benefits, and we're like, but they, they cook for me.
Yeah,
Talk about the
yeah,
kids. I
yeah.
talk about my sons. I talk about my grandson and everything. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
it's
family.
amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got people like that still. I got to visit every AP. Been with me for over 10 years.
Yes, I love it. Yeah.
Amazing.
So yeah, so that's
Yeah.
my mindset. Those 4 phrases when I'm going into an event, I'm gonna treat that person. One, overall, I'm gonna treat that person as this is the only person I'm gonna talk to, and then I'm gonna go with those 4 mindsets going into.
And that's so powerful, Joe, because I think a lot of agents, they just go to the event just to see if I can get a lead or to see if I can, make an appointment, but they don't have the intentionality, like you said. You got to be intentional and having that mindset of those 4 things. I think that's powerful too.
Exactly. Even if it's the same bingo that I've gone to over and over and over again, that's my mindset going in. And I'm going to try to make it happen.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you. And I
Yeah.
changed gears a little bit because
Yes.
now you're a sales manager. So there's a different skill set for that. And we at the agency also have some sales managers or agency managers that have their own team. What are some of the things that have helped you to grow sales within a team as a sales manager?
Yeah. So I mentioned like the name, but first of all, there's always someone out there smarter than me.
Mm.
So I want to find a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And I got into management and ITs when I started it and then started in this business. I got into management because I wanted anybody that reported to me, I wanted to make sure they had every opportunity to get what they want, to do what they wanted in the business. So in IT, I had some people that was like, Joe, I just want to be a programmer and I want to retire as a programmer and I'm going to do the best job possible. And so I was like, you know what? My job as your manager is to make sure that happens.
Wow.
And then I had people saying, I want to be a manager, but I'm not ready yet. Or I want to be a manager now. All right, let me mentor you.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing right now. I have, well, first of all of my agents, I treat them as leaders.
Wow.
Because they're running their own business.
Yep.
Even if it's under a carrier, they're running their own business. It's just that the carrier, and for brokers, there's multiple carriers that you're representing.
Yeah.
But it's your own business.
Mm.
So as a sales manager, I am dealing with them and how can you be successful? Do you see those skills to make somebody like, you know what? You would be a really good leader. Let me help you. Be a mentor as long as finding a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are looking out for those agents that report to you and anybody else around you in your circle, one of the most important, where I mentioned this before, and it's really hard in this business to do, but people see it, you build trust.
Mm.
You can't build a relationship without trust.
Wow.
And again, we have trust, that we've built over the years, but you could just see it on how a person operates and how a person deals with other people. And then again, when you're out in the industry, like I mentioned before, I think I said it backwards, but this is a big industry, but it's so small.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Somebody go out there and say, hey, what do you know about Jorge? What do you know about Joe? And and you start hearing, because again, this is a small industry. When you hear, okay, can I work with this person? So building that trust is huge. So I just don't build the trust with management and above. I want to build that trust with my agents. I want to be able to have my agents come to me. And I said this in my meetings before. How can I help? How can I improve? Not how can I help you? How can I improve as a manager? The first thing they said to me, you need to learn to speak Spanish. So maybe I'll come back in a year or two and this will be.
We'll do it in Spanish.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So yeah, so I would say that's one of the, the main thing is if you want to help, you were already there. Most managers were already there.
Mm-hmm.
Put yourself in their shoes and be like, how can I, what are they looking for?
Mm-hmm.
And build that trust. Don't sit up on the pedestal. You know how they say there's a difference between a leader and a boss.
Wow.
A leader is going to go out and say, let's go. We're going in this together. A boss is going to say, go do this, go do that, go do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's advice there.
Awesome. Love that. Wow. Wow. These were great bullets. Man, I hope you guys are taking notes because this podcast is just amazing.
Thank you.
Let me ask you some questions about the things that have helped you become who you are, which are a little different because I believe that, as a leader, it's not only about, and as an agent too, it's not only about learning about the product.
Mm-hmm.
You have to acquire some skill sets to be successful in this industry. So tell me, what has been those things that have helped you become who you are in this industry?
Well, I got amazing parents, and I got an amazing family that back. Most of them are still in Washington, D.C. We have some spread out, one in Tampa and everything, but I have amazing parents that just instilled in me amazing Christian values that just that just stuck with me all night. And I did not let all the other things happening around me change me from that.
That's amazing.
Because I was like, this is who I am, and let those people go do whatever, but this is who I am. And I focused on that. And then just bringing that to the table when I would meet somebody. How could we help going back to, like I was saying, building the relationships there. So I did that. I had amazing mentors, as I talked about. I mean, God bless me with some amazing mentors. Like every time I was placed, I had somebody to look up to and learn from and wanted to be a teacher. So that's one of the areas that stuck in my heart, is being an educator, being a teacher. I was most people don't know this, but my wife and I, we owned a martial arts school for 7 years. I was in martial arts for over 20 years.
Wow.
And we owned our own school. I'm a master. It was in Taekwondo.
No way, Jorge.
Yes. So cool. And one thing that I learned from my mentor there, and I had several mentors, during my career at Taekwondo, and still do some martial arts here, helping other schools with them. But the one thing I learned was that I actually learned more from my white belts than any other black belt that came in.
Wow. Why is that?
Because I was an educator. So to me, how can I learn to be a better educator? Now, it's not taking away what I learned from the 7th degree black belts and these masters, grandmasters. I mean, I learned a lot from them. But those white belts, was somebody coming in for the first time, learning how to communicate to them to where we made that connection. Again, building the trust and relationship.
Wow.
That's what I learned. And that's what carried me on. So I built on that.
Wow.
And then the next one. So I learned so much from the beginner belts, even the intermediate belts. And like I said, not to take away from the grandmaster, but I learned so much more. So it goes back to the leader aspect, or me not being on the top of a soapbox on a thing. Because I knew a lot, especially in martial arts, I knew a lot of grandmasters that they would just sit there. You can't teach me anything. Unless you're a higher belt than me, you can't teach me anything. I was the exact opposite. I was like, let me learn from you. Wow.
And look where that has taken you.
Yes.
So, and I think we go back to the word humble, because you gotta be humble to learn from someone that you think is like below you, just to put it on a quote, because
and make yourself vulnerable. I tell you again, I've gone to my team several times, like, how can I improve?
Wow.
Tell me, what am I doing? Because we can get in the mindset of, because we're so busy, we can get in the mindset of blinders, like I'm doing fine. But there are other areas that you can improve on. So I tell my team, where can I improve? Tell me, where am I missing? What's going on now? And that builds a trust to where they can say, oh, wow, I really can come to my manager for anything.
Wow. All about trust.
Yes, yes.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes.
What has been the best advice someone has given you in this industry?
Giving the best advice, I would say kind of two things. One, which I mentioned, we keep mentioning the word relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Just build relationships. Uh, you know, be who you are, build those relationships. Sales are gonna come.
Mm-hmm.
Sales are gonna come. And then the other, big advice, if you really want to make this a career, and the phrase I said before, this is a marathon. This is not a sprint.
Mm-hmm.
Because the people that have been in this for, you're going to have months to where, I remember months to where I'm coming down on the 31st day of the month and I needed 2-3 sales to get my quota and I'm hustling, hustling, hustling. Then there are sometimes to where it's the 7th day in the month and I already got 12 sales. I mean, like, it's just,
Wow.
that's
Yeah.
sales.
Yeah, that's sales.
So understand that it's a grind. In this industry, it's a grind. It's this industry is like no other. It says, people try to create, oh, it's just like this sales. And no,
Yeah.
this is not. This is completely different than and I've been in retail sales. I've been in computer IT sales. I've been in all of that. This industry is different.
It's
So
different.
this, it's a grind. Take your time, move on. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And then off the podcast, we were talking a little bit about books. Can you mention some of those books that have helped you throughout your career or grown in your career or personal also?
Yeah. So I read a lot of books. I love reading. And I will tell you, I couldn't stand reading until after college. Like I got through college,
Yeah.
couldn't stand reading, but I love reading now.
Mhm.
My first book I read every day is the Bible. Now I will tell you,
Yeah.
so much thing to life.
Much wisdom.
Oh my goodness. And that's my favorite book is Proverbs. So that's,
There you go. Yeah.
besides that, some of the other books, and I took pictures of it because I wanted to make sure I had the author's name.
Mhm.
And I read a lot of leadership books.
Oh.
So I do that. One of them is The Way of the Shepherd by Dr. Kevin Lehman and Bill Pentek. Then another one, which is really, really interesting, is called Chess, Not Checkers
I heard about that book.
by Mark Miller. Amazing book. I recommend everybody, especially in our industry, because our industry is always changing.
Yes, every year changes.
And if you don't stay on top of it, what this book says, you're playing checkers and not chess to where everybody else is playing chess. So Chess, Not Checkers is the other one. And then one that I'm reading right now, and it actually is talking about today, especially with AI and things like that. It's called Deep Work by Cal Newport.
Wow.
And the book talks about how, because we are so distracted and everything is quick feed.
Yeah.
Quick
It's
feed.
like you got 3 seconds.
Exactly. And you're going to the next thing.
Yeah.
To where that book talks about taking some time and not being distracted at all. Like I have time. I won't have my phone. I won't have iPad. I won't have the TV on. And I might be just reading, meditating, praying something, but taking those distractions away. So it's deep work, how to do deep work.
Wow.
And how do you relate that to what's going on with AI and all of the industries and stuff right now?
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
love it. Love those books. Yeah.
Love that. Definitely gonna grab one of those.
Yes, and I would also say always, and also I love fictional books too. Like one of my favorite character is Sherlock Holmes. So I'll read those books and I'll read all different types of, things on that. I love the Bonds and everything else. I want to, maybe in my secret life, I want to be a secret agent or a detective. Yeah.
Yeah, those are always good because they keep the tension. Okay, what's gonna happen?
Yeah,
How is he
exactly.
gonna get to do this?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But
love that.
reading is I would say is very key. Go out there and learn. When I used to coach my sons, I used to say, how are you working on your craft today?
Wow.
So if they were playing basketball, I'd be like, how are you working on your craft today? Well, it's raining. Well, why not go on the porch and just dribble? Why not be in your room and just having the basketball or just something, even if it's football, whatever. So it's the same exact thing with our energy, with our industry. How are you working on your craft today?
Wow, love that.
Yeah.
And it should be a daily thing.
A daily thing. If you want to be successful, a daily thing. And it doesn't mean that you don't have time to relax and chill, but getting back, learning, how am I working on my craft? How am I improving myself on X?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Last question, Joe.
Yes.
If you have to give an advice to your 20-year-old younger self, what would you say to Joe Curtis?
Stop. I would say is that everything that you're doing right now doesn't have to be the end all be all of everything.
Wow.
Learn from what's going on right now, good or bad. Learn from it, because those are the things that make you who you are later. Know who you are, but have those values. Again, I was raised with some amazing Christian values, so I held that to my heart, and so much was going wrong, even stuff that I think was bad. But those things that I thought were bad actually was like, wow, I'm so glad that happened.
Wow.
And yes, we have things, people, you say things and you act maybe things like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I say, but I don't regret anything. I'm just like, okay, I learned from that.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem saying I'm sorry. So if I treat somebody, I'll go, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. Let's move on. Or did I say that right? Did I, upset you? And I say, I'm okay with that, because we've those experiences. But to that young Joe Curtis, I would be like, it's not the end all be all.
Yeah.
Just learn from it and move on. And I've got a couple of Joseph Curtis behind me, so yes, so I know to them too, and all my boys.
Awesome, Joe. Well, thank you so much for this time. I think it's been so valuable, everything you have shared in this podcast. Any final words for the agents out there listening us?
If you need anything, he knows how to get into contact with me. I'm always available just to help those that want help, want to grow. It's just one of those things. I love to educate. But to you all, like you were just saying, I was just like, if you want to be successful, this is a continuing process. Just work through the grind. It's worth it at the end. I've seen so many success stories for those that just kind of just stick with it and keep going. So, go ahead and build relationships.
Awesome. Great feedback. Thank you, Yo.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for listening to our Ideas Edition podcast. It's been an amazing episode. Make sure you share this with other agents, other people that might be interested in joining the insurance industry. This industry is for everybody that wants to make a difference in their community, but also wants to make an extra living for themselves by helping people. So make sure you share our podcast, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next Ideas Edition podcast.